Hello, welcome to Salford Now. The time is 4:15. I'm Ellie Richards.
And I'm Thomas Ridley. Coming up on today's show,
I found out what people have been saying about the possibility that American sports bar Hooters will be opening in Salford Quays.
Bap, 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 squeezing women's tits. You know, it was really sort of reductive toward women. You don't see that anymore, and the reason you don't see it anymore is because we don't treat women like that anymore. So why would we put a bar right in the heart of Salford?
is vaping a more dangerous drag than a cigarette? Sophie Rumsby has more later on.
Do not consider vaping as a healthy alternative. Think of vaping as less dangerous alternative from cancer point of view.
A furry friend is here to visit us to talk about how they are helping to keep Salford students stress-free.
Salford Cathedral has recently revealed its Phase 1 plans for the development happening next year. This phase will focus primarily on external work. Ebony Bailey spoke to Christopher Cotton, one of the architects working on the upcoming project.
As you enter the church, the ideas for the renovation are apparent. Boards full of information are on display in the cloisters. The work will take place within 2 phases, starting around May next year.
I'm stood outside Salford Cathedral, where next year they will be celebrating their 123rd anniversary by starting some new renovations all over the building.
As you can see, the wear and tear of the building is starting to affect this traditional structure. I spoke to the architect behind this amazing work to see the reasonings behind this new renovation.
Well, the cathedral approached us looking to make some changes to the cathedral, and also the cathedral, as you will probably have seen, suffers from quite a few issues with water coming in through the roof. It's also, a very expensive building to maintain and to keep running in terms of energy costs. So they called us as architects to come in and see what we can do to help.
This project is costing around 15 million, which includes re-roofing the whole building, saving energy costs, internal and external lighting, and so much more. These photos are just some of the plans for the future development of the cathedral. They are all shown on the cathedral's website for every interested person. With the years to come, Salford Cathedral will hopefully be an even more beautiful place to worship. Ebony Bailey, Keys News.
If approved, American restaurant Hooters could soon have a place in Salford Quays. The potential new addition has divided local residents. I went to find out what people have been saying.
What that message is that what matters about you is that you've got big tits. Not that you've got a big brain, not that you might be a great engineer or politician or policewoman. It's just that you've got big tits.
You gotta get down to Hooters. Here she comes, a girl next door, hanging with good friends and more. Come on, what you waiting for? You gotta get down to Hooters.
According to the Hooters website, it is an honour bestowed upon only the most entertaining, goal-orientated, glamorous and charismatic woman to own the iconic title Hooters Girl. However, Its possible entry into Salford Quays is causing quite the debate amongst locals.
Being here, then all the guys from uni will go and they expect everyone else to look like that. It's just I don't really want that. Just ruins society's expectations again, doesn't it?
Yeah. No objections, yeah? Sounds fine to me.
Would it be somewhere that you would go yourself?
Yeah, I think so. I think me and Paul would definitely be going, yeah.
Local councillor Phil Tresden did not seem intrigued by the idea and released this statement urging people to argue the licensing soon as the deadline is the 3rd of May.
But probably my biggest concern is, so back in the 70s, Hooters was used in this country. Bap, 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 squeezing women's tits. It was really sort of reductive toward women. You don't see that anymore, and the reason you don't see it anymore is because we don't treat women like that anymore. So why would we put a bar right in the heart of Salford that objectifies women and turns the value of them into their breasts again? Why would we do that?
Founded in Florida in 1983, 3 businessmen claimed that the selling point for their world-renowned idea was creating a bar they couldn't get kicked out of. The only other UK-based Hooters has been approved in Liverpool despite opposition. If approved, the well-known restaurant and bar will be located here, right across from the Salford Quays tram stop.
A doctor at the University of Salford thinks vaping should be banned due to the unknown long-term effects. It's on the rise, but lots of experts don't know if it's safe. Sophie Rumsby reports.
Chances are you know a vaper. The number of e-cigarette users in the UK has more than quintupled in a decade, according to the Action on Smoking and Health charity. From 7,000 in 2012 to 3.6 million in 2021. But should we be inhaling something we know hardly anything about? When Glynis Miller's husband died suddenly, oil particles were found in his lungs. Glynis says this can only be because of vaping.
That day was our 39th wedding anniversary. So as it clicked in, I says to him, "You do anything," I says, "to get out to buy me a birthday card." And he sort of half laughed, but you could tell he was sort of half asleep. Cutting a long story short, 9:20 that night, he was dead. He was gone.
US health authorities have already linked a mysterious lung illness to vaping. At the University of Salford School of Science, students are involved in researching the potential effects of vaping.
What we see in the lab, this is not in any patient setting, this is a controlled experiment in the lab. It has shown over and over again that e-liquids, whether they have nicotine or not have nicotine, they are more toxic than nicotine directly or classical cigarette smoke. Do not consider vaping as a healthy alternative. Think of vaping as less dangerous alternative from cancer point of view.
A lot of countries at the moment, so Singapore, Thailand, lots of San Francisco, states in America, they're starting to ban vaping and e-cigarettes.
Yeah.
In your opinion, do you think that they should be banned in the UK?
In my opinion, yes, they should be. And that's not because what we found in the lab. That's because why you put something in your body that you don't know what it does to your body?
I realised how convenient it was to vape. So I tried one and then I continued to try one.
Evie was a social cigarette smoker before following her friends and switching to vaping.
You can just pick it up and smoke it wherever. You don't have to worry about being outside or anything. But they're really bad for you in the sense that there's as much nicotine in one of these as a packet of cigarettes. And I can go through one of these a day, whereas a whole pack of cigarettes used to last me about a week.
The UK government claims that vaping is 95% less harmful than smoking and could save many lives. While that has been disputed, its popularity is not. Sophie Rumsby, Salford Now.
Now for sport, Leon Jones has the latest on what's happening this week.
Salford City's promotion hopes have been taken out of their hand off the back of Sky Bet League 2 results on Tuesday. Mansfield, Sutton and Swindon all picked up 3 points, which now leaves Salford in 9th place, 4 points off the playoff spots. Salford will have to win their remaining 2 fixtures against Mansfield and Stevenage, and also hope that one of their competitors slips up. The cameras will be on them at the Peninsula Stadium on Monday when the Ammies take on 5th place Mansfield in what will be a decisive playoff clash. A win on Monday would be huge for Salford, as it means Mansfield will have to get a result against league leaders Forest Green Rovers, whereas Salford travel to Stevenage, who have got nothing left to play for this season. Elsewhere in the sport, Run Through UK is back on this evening. People will be running around a 2.5 kilometre loop over the canal and past the Imperial War Museum and television studios in Media City. Back to you in the studio.
Shaping the future for Salford, Partington Potts and the pupils at St Philip's are days away from the full completion of a new mural on Chapel Street. Megan Bond has more on the story.
The small craft sculpting business, Partington Potts, based in Salford behind Islington Mill, is carving the future for the city. The clay wheel throwing artist and owner of the brand, David Partington, has fired at every opportunity that is being thrown his way. David Partington has worked with big names like Channel 5, to his most recent project with Eric Wright, a construction company that are working on Chapel Street in Salford, that have commissioned Partington Potts to replace a mural damaged by vandals during the pandemic. Back in February, the clay tiles, each unique and crafted by the pupils of St Philip's, were just about ready for firing in a kiln. Now, 2 months later, the mural is days away from being displayed to the public. The date is now set. May the 11th at 2 p.m, the tiles made by the local school children, with the help of David Partington, will be revealed. David Partington shared his excitement for the upcoming event.
Well, I'm excited to see all the children who worked on it and just their reaction to it, and also I'm sure they'll be really proud when it's up there because they did all the work on it. I directed them and helped them make them, but they did everything. So everything that is on that mural is all done by the children at St Philip's. So it's going to be fantastic for them because they can walk past that every day and hopefully be immensely proud of what they've achieved. So it went up about 2 weeks ago. I was blessed that the builders from Eric Wright came round and the carpenter and helped me put it all together and get it on the wall.
Megan Bond reports, Salford Now.
Organisation Clean Yards held its first spring community cleanup of the year. They collaborated with Salford Litter Heroes and Inspiring Communities. This year will be its third year making alleyways in Lower Broughton cleaner and greener. Heidi Kershaw reports.
A once miserable, littered space emitting a rather foul stench, this Salford alleyway is turned into a tropical paradise every spring. Local landlord Bertha Hulaney started clean-up organisation Green Yards.
Our reporter Conor McCann is here in the studio with Hannah Woodfin from Guide Dogs for the Blind.
Hello Hannah, thanks very much for coming to the studio today. So we're joined here with Hannah and her dog Jimbo. So Hannah, could you just tell us a wee bit about Jimbo and when you got him and how old he is?
Jimbo is 5 years old next month. He's a flat coat retriever crossed with a golden retriever. He's 3/4 golden. You wouldn't believe it, but he is. Yeah. And I've had him since he was 2 years old, from when he was fully trained.
Yeah. So Hannah, when did you choose to get involved with Guide Dogs for the Blind?
When I decided about 2019, when I decided that a guide dog was actually for me. I decided that if I wanted a guide dog, and with how much guide dogs cost through their lifetime, if I wanted a guide dog, then I should give something back, and they're absolutely amazing. They deserve something back.
Yeah. Could you tell us a little bit more about the costs of guide dogs?
Guide dogs for the blind, they pay for everything from birth to retirement for the dog, and that costs about £60,000.
Right.
And we are a charity, so we rely upon donations and people fundraising for us.
Yeah, and what way can people donate if they wish to give a donation to Guide Dogs for the Blind?
They, if it's a donation, they can go on the website and you can just give a donation through the website, or you can fundraise for us by just doing a sponsored event, or you can do a Jimbo.
Oh, well, Jimbo's got tired there.
do a name a puppy. There's 4 different levels of name a puppy. So you can raise, I think it's 2,500, 5,000, 10,000, or if you're very successful, 50,000. And depending on how much you raise, is dependent on how far along the journey you see the dog.
Great. Thanks very much, Hannah. That's brilliant information, and there will be more included after the show.
That's all for today. Thank you for joining us.
Keep up to date with the latest at Salford Now.